This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 20th day of April in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Chief Justice Rooks and George this afternoon ruled that the appointment of PPP candidates at the last elections, Vikash Ramkissoon and Sarah Brown as parliamentary secretaries and non-elected members of the National Assembly was illegal, and therefore the two are to be removed from the positions and their seats in the National Assembly. In her ruling, the Chief Justice said that Brown, who is a parliamentary secretary to the Amerindian Affairs Ministry, and Ramkissoon, who is the parliamentary secretary to the Agriculture Ministry, are not lawful members of the National Assembly and could no longer occupy the seats in the House. The Chief Justice said the arguments submitted by the Attorney General Anil Nandlal and the attorney for Brown and Ramkissoon held no merit. She made specific reference to the Dennis Morian case. A few years ago, PP member Dennis Morian filed a constitutional motion questioning the legality of former ministers Keith Scott and Winston Felix sitting in the National Assembly as technocrat ministers after they were both candidates for the APNU-AFC list for the 2015 elections. Both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal ruled that their appointments were illegal. Justice George further pointed out that whereas the cases are not significantly different, the lower court is bound by the decision of the appeal court. The Chief Justice accused the Attorney General Anil Nandlal of abandoning his previous arguments in that case, while cherry-picking parts of that argument to support the appointment of the parliamentary secretaries.
I believe that the decision of the Chief Justice was sound. It dealt accurately and adequately with the issues which arose before the court. The Chief Justice found that the issues were largely decided before by Justice Chang in a previous case of Desmond Morian against the Attorney General. And that decision of Justice Chang was upheld by the Court of Appeal. So the Chief Justice was really in a situation where we lawyers would say that she was bound by the decision of the Court of Appeal. She was bound by the doctrine that we refer to as the doctrine of precedent or stare decisis. The Chief Justice found also that the arguments of the Attorney General and Mr. Manoj Narayan and Mr. Satram, who represented the Attorney General and the parliamentary secretaries as well as the Speaker, were really without merit and of little substance.
The fixed date application filed in the name of Opposition Chief Whip Christopher Jones asked the court for a declaration that Brown and Ramkissoon are not lawful members of the National Assembly of the 12th Parliament and are also not validly appointed parliamentary secretaries. Jones was being represented by senior counsel Roy Still Ford. Mr. Ford argued that persons who are on the successful list of candidates are elected members of the National Assembly and therefore cannot qualify under Article 105 to be non-elected MPs. The Chief Justice agreed with the arguments put forward by senior counsel Ford.
When we go back and we review the decision of Justice Chang, he defined membership or pathways to membership to the National Assembly, providing two distinct pathways. First, whether you are on the list and you would have been a contestant or a candidate named on the list of electors or a list of candidates, I should say, and on the other hand, in relation to whether you would have been off the list and you would have simply been appointed as a member of the National Assembly. By virtue of the appointment, you would become a member of the National Assembly. So what we were having in the National Assembly was a very odd, almost comical situation where the two parliamentary secretaries were named as on the list of candidates of the members of the PPP. They would have been on that list. Persons would have been voted for them. The definition of elected members mean that you would have been on that list. You would have been presented to the electorate, and nevertheless they would have been appointed as if they were off the list, and they were seeking to sit in the National Assembly as if they were off the list, seeking to exercise the privilege of being in the National Assembly and being able to speak, though not exercising the right to vote.
And now that the judgment has been granted, the Speaker of the National Assembly is expected to move to inform Brown and Ramkissoon that they could no longer participate in the business of the National Assembly. The Chief Justice said the Speaker should know what he has to do. Meanwhile, the Attorney General has already filed an appeal in the case. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
All the people.
Regardless of race,
Class or religion.
We
are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
At Soch Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Soch Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
It's trendy to share your vacation plans, photos, and location on social media. But do you know who is seeing your posts? Sharing that you're on vacation or a business can signal to potential burglars that your home is empty. Using location services can also allow people to track your whereabouts, making you an easy target for theft. Be aware of what information you share about your location and your possessions. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL.
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
The month of April still has 10 days to go, and it has already surpassed March as the month with the highest number of new COVID-19 infections in Guyana since the pandemic started here a year ago. Guyana today recorded 71 new coronavirus cases, taking the total number of active cases in the country to 1,388. Since the start of April, the country has recorded 1,723 new cases of COVID-19 and 40 deaths. 2 new deaths were recorded today. The total death toll now stands at 273, and there are 13 persons in the coronavirus intensive care unit who are being closely monitored tonight. The Health Minister, Dr. Frank Anthony, today revealed that a number of areas in Region 3 and 4 are hotspots for the virus. He said it is worrying that in the 2 regions, at least every village or area has seen COVID-19 cases.
Well, we have seen an increase in cases in Region 4, Region 3. We have also, in Region 7, we have a number of cases as well. So we continue to monitor these areas. In Region 4 specifically, we have seen an upsurge in cases around Diamond Eccles area. On the East Coast, we have seen cases in the Lusignan, Success area. So there are pockets where we are seeing more cases, but generally when we look across, say, the East Coast or Georgetown or the East Bank, almost every village there are 1 or 2 cases. Similarly in Region 3, at Tushin, we have seen more cases, but again, in different villages across Region 3, there are 1 or 2 cases that exist.
Region 4 currently has the highest number of active cases in the country and has been the epicenter of the pandemic locally since the first case was recorded. Since then, the region has recorded over 5,000 coronavirus cases. Let's tell you now that only 4% of the nearly 25,000 eligible citizens of Region 10 have received the first shot of one of the COVID-19 vaccines, according to information from the Ministry of Health. The bauxite mining region, which is home to the town of Linden, has the lowest percentage of persons who have been administered with the first dose of the vaccine. Over 800 cases of coronavirus have been recorded in the region in the past year. While Region 10 lags behind with the lowest percentage of vaccinations, Regions 4 and 6 are leading the country with the greatest response to the vaccination drive. According to the Ministry of Health data seen by NewsSource, a total of 42,254 persons in Region 4 have already received the first dose of the vaccine, and that represents 20.8% of the total number of eligible persons for the vaccine in Region 4. 15,491 persons in Region 6 have received their first dose, representing 21.7% of the eligible population from that region. All of the other regions are seeing double-digit percentage coverage of the vaccine, except for Region 10 at its 4.7%. Region 10 Chairman Deron Adams today told NewsSource that the vaccine hesitancy in the region appears to be coming from a mixture of misinformation and leaders in the community not stepping up to lead by example. Mr. Adams, who recently recovered from COVID-19, said he has already taken his first dose of the vaccine, and he thinks it is time that other leaders step up to encourage the citizens of the region to get vaccinated.
Well, Gordon, I believe a lack of adequate knowledge is probably the driving force for the public panic here in Region 10. Misunderstandings about the information that is available. We need a more robust PR system in place. And even worse is the exaggerating of that very information. And that may further, as you know, aggravate the panic that is currently that persons are currently experiencing here in the region. I believe it is a time that our leaders step up to the plate and encourage the citizens of the region to get vaccinated. Just recently, you're aware that a councillor voice note has been circulating that the councillor would have taken the vaccine and a couple of minutes after she passed away, and records would show that councillor did not take the vaccine. And so I believe our leaders need to come forward, all the leaders in the region, to relieve the public panic and let us go forward with an effective approach at this point. It is timely, and we need regular testimonials, possibly publications by prominent people in society, or other trustworthy evidence in a manner appropriate for the public.
Adams also made reference to a recent voice note that was being circulated in the region with a false claim that a regional councillor who recently passed away had been vaccinated. Mr. Adams said the councillor was never vaccinated. The Ministry of Health has also confirmed that the councillor was never vaccinated and her death was not linked to any vaccine. The Ministry of Education, with funding from UNICEF and the Global Partnership for Development, today launched a project which aims to provide 6th to grade 7 teachers with online tools that will enable them to teach effectively online. The project is being facilitated by the Tablet Academy International Company, which is based in the United Kingdom. The initiative is also expected to reach more than 1,000 grade 7 students from across the country. At the launching of the project, Education Minister Priya Manikchand explained that the project was expected to be launched at a later date. But with the challenges facing the education sector currently because of COVID-19, a decision was made for an earlier rollout. She said the initiative will provide teachers with the training needed to competently conduct online classes in a manner that will benefit both teachers and their students.
This helps us to build out a more robust system where we can incorporate technology in an aggressive way with what we know already works to be able to be more effective in the classroom. We believe that there's going to come a time when, and it's not long off, when we're going to be unable to deliver certain topics, certain subjects without the usage of technology. And so today I welcome this program. It is just one of many different things we are doing regarding introducing technology and other modes of distance education in our system so that we could meet the need that COVID has presented, which is for us to deliver education while our school doors are closed.
The Education Minister also said she is very confident that the new project will serve the education sector well, even after the pandemic.
I say with great confidence that this introduction of technology and other forms of distance education will not stop when COVID is finished. This is going to be fully incorporated into our education system here in Guyana so that we could be more effective at every level, nursery, primary, secondary, and across the tertiary learning levels.
The internationally funded project carries a price tag of over $170 million. 6 months after his appointment as the new general manager of the state-owned Guyana oil company, Trevor Basu has resigned from the position with immediate effect. He tendered his resignation to the board. In a brief statement to News Source today, Mr. Basu said there appears to be efforts to discredit his character. He said he can safely say that someone or a group of people are spreading propaganda in an attempt to discredit his character and create a distraction. He indicated that he will be seeking the services of an attorney before making any additional statement. Chairman of the Guyana Board, Paul Chung, confirmed Mr. Basu's resignation. Asked whether the general manager was asked to resign, the chairman said the general manager resigned voluntarily, without any reason being provided. The resignation comes as the oil company has launched a probe into allegations made by a fuel dealer against a number of managers at the company over a fuel purchase deal that now appears non-existent. The dealer has claimed that there was an agreement for him to sell imported fuel to Guy Oil. The company's chairman today said there is no evidence of any such agreement, but noted that the matter and the claims that have been made in the public space are on the probe.
There are some information circulating around, but I mean, there was never any order placed for any fuel from anyone, I mean, other than Paria and Santoli.
Okay.
Right? We will investigating that those things, and we can be doing a release to clear the matter up. Because before we purchase fuel from, I mean, there's a number of processes we have to go through, including due diligence. We gotta get the source of fuel, because a lot of places you can't buy fuel from because they're embargo again. So the origin of the fuel is important, also quality analysis and so on.
The GAIL chairman assured that the findings of the probe will be made public, and he was sure not to link the resignation of the general manager to the ongoing probe. News Source has learned that a businessman who has made the claims about the fuel purchase deal is claiming to have voice notes and text messages that he claims could prove that a deal existed. A number of persons familiar with fuel importation and sales locally have indicated that there is not much information on the businessman and his fuel importation record. As Guyana continues to support the relief efforts in volcano-ravaged St. Vincent, Digicel Guyana became the latest local company this morning to join the national relief efforts. Digicel Guyana donated $2 million to the Civil Defense Commission as calls continued for relief support for the island of St. Vincent. In a statement, the company said it is committed to working with the government of Guyana on national and regional emergencies and commends the CDC for its management of the relief efforts. The company also said it is confident that its donation will be put to good use in meeting some of the immediate needs of the people of St. Vincent. The head of the commercial department at Digicel Guyana, Simone Pierre, said Digicel is honored to be a part of the collaborative effort initiated by the CDC in providing relief to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. She said Digicel would like Vincentians to know that its hearts and prayers are with them during the difficult times. The Digicel Group has also shown its commitment to helping the people of St. Vincent rebuild by donating $500,000 worth of much-needed items to the government of St. Vincent. Commenting on the assistance, Digicel Group Chairman Dennis O'Brien said, with his company's priorities being helping to keep people safe and keeping them connected, it's at times like these that their natural instinct is to want to do everything they can to help. Guyana has already dispatched 3 shipments of supplies to St. Vincent and has offered to render more assistance. A high-level team from the Exxon Mobil company in Guyana is set to meet with the opposition leader and an opposition parliamentary team on Thursday to discuss the current compressor problem that continues to affect the oil company's operations on the Liza Destiny vessel. Over the weekend, opposition leader Joe Harmon dispatched a letter to the Exxon Guyana president requesting the meeting. Exxon in return said it has always been transparent with all stakeholders and will continue to do so, signaling its decision to meet. The gas compressor problem first popped up back in January, forcing the company then to remove the compressor system and increase flaring while the compressor was being repaired in Germany. The system was repaired and returned to Guyana. Its reinstallment took more than 2 weeks, and just as the final stages to the reinstallment and testing were being completed, the company recorded another problem with the compressor. The new problem forced Exxon to slash its daily oil production by more than 90,000 barrels. The opposition wants details on the problem and the effect and impact it is having on the company and the local oil industry.
More employers are using social media to monitor employees. Here are some ways to maintain professionalism online. Never share confidential information about anyone, whether colleagues or clients. Do not share inappropriate posts from work gatherings. Keep company social media posts neutral. Never argue or make offensive comments. Never complain about your job to clients. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
I took the vaccine. My name is Gordon Mosley and I took the vaccine on Friday. And I'm encouraging you, if you've made the choice, go take the vaccine. Protect yourself against COVID-19. COVID-19 is no joke. I've been covering the story from day one and it scares me and it should scare you too. So there are vaccination sites all around. Go to the Ministry of Health's Facebook page, follow the information, keep your mask on and go take the vaccine. You'll be happy you did. Across the region tonight, U.S. authorities will this week update travel advisories recommending Americans not to travel to Barbados and 3 other Caribbean countries, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Lucia. According to a statement issued by the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown, the Department of State will update its travel advisories in keeping with the travel health notices issued by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. Currently, the CDC has listed Barbados on the level 4, COVID-19 very high, which recommends no travel. The CDC currently has over 140 travel health notices, including for the United States and areas of the Caribbean on the level 4. Effective this week, the State Department also said it will adopt the same advisories for those jurisdictions. The recent travel advisory update resulted in a significant increase in the number of countries at travel advisory level 4. The U.S. Embassy in Barbados said it continues to strongly recommend U.S. citizens to reconsider all travel abroad and postpone their trips if possible. The United Nations has announced that it is seeking $29.2 million to help St. Vincent recover from ongoing volcanic eruptions that have destroyed homes and crops, contaminated water supplies, and displaced up to 20% of the people of the island. During a press conference, the UN resident coordinator for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean described the scene in St. Vincent as that of an apocalypse. He said the devastating impact of the event on thousands of people is undeniable, adding that more money will be needed once damage assessments are completed. Prime Minister of St. Vincent, Ralph Gonzalez, said officials are still quantifying the damage, but that rebuilding will run in the hundreds of millions of dollars on top of massive humanitarian relief efforts. More than 16,000 people were evacuated ahead of the first explosion at the Sophia volcano, with officials noting that ashes piled up to 16 inches high in some homes in the northern part of St. Vincent, where the volcano is located. More than 6,200 evacuees are staying in 88 government shelters and thousands of others in homes or private shelters. And finally tonight, international news. The president of Chad, Idriss Déby, has died of his injuries following clashes with rebels in the north of the country at the weekend. The announcement came a day after provisional election results projected that he would win a 6th term in office. The government and parliament have been dissolved, the curfew has also been imposed, and the borders have been shut. The 68-year-old president spent more than 3 decades in power and was one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. An army officer by training, he came to power in 1990 through an armed uprising. He was a longtime ally of France and other Western powers in the battle against jihadist groups in the Sahel region of Africa. An army general announced that he died after defending the sovereign nation on the battlefield. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting. Stay safe